Okay, hi. Today I'm gonna comment on a multiplayer game uh, that I played. I had the options between two players, two games. One game that I won, and one game I lost. And I picked the one I think is more interesting. Let's get into it. It's I was playing as Herbert, and it was Masquerade. So yeah, so I was looking around. I saw someone already found here, so I wasn't going to waste my scans there. So I changed my direction. I was thinking about this high aluminum, and and here you can see I was doing some gambling. I put down on robotics just to get this aluminum and hope I have some iron somewhere nearby. Maybe okay, here's an iron, or or that maybe someone else starts producing iron. But well, it turns out there are two two scavengers and one scientific, so this is very unlikely. So why did I put the two aluminium mines? Again, I wanted to uh, get up my efficiency, and soon you will see I will be producing four aluminium, so it's a lot. But if I sell them like down to 15, something like that, I will be making on average $30 for the building. Okay, and $30 at the very beginning is actually quite okay. So Bradbury, for example, he has also two buildings, and he's making, well, because he's scientific, he doesn't have to supply the iron. That's why he's making slightly more. He's making actually almost 40 for each building. Um, well, carbon prices, they're probably going to shrink, I thought, because they're like both them are using carbon and they both want to sell it because you want to sell stuff because you want to have liquid currency. Cool. And there we were. So far, no one has built any power plants. So that was my next main focus. I wanted to get my steel production going and then get those two sweet power pots. But this aluminium thing, I thought actually it's not working so well. Because even $15, because no one thinks like, oh, he's selling so aluminium so cheap. I shouldn't build aluminium. No one thought that. They had already built some stuff, and he's building a second aluminium. Like, aluminium is so short, like so cheap, and he's still building a second one. Like him, Asimov, I think he's like should be thinking like, oh damn, this mine here, place it to something else. Aluminium is so cheap, and I like intended to make it cheap, but it was still hard to sell. So it was sort of a miscalculation on my part. But thing with this strategy, like if you pop next to aluminium and you do a two cluster or even a three cluster, it's very good because eventually you will gonna stockpile a lot of aluminium and you can just scrap all of those and build a cluster of like efficient cluster or something else, something useful. So it's okay. You don't have to think about aluminium for the rest of the game then. because you can scrap it like probably from level 3 already. And yeah, here, yeah, this building here is kind of like messed up because I can't build anything here, but I can still build like hacker array here, or like both scientific buildings here. And like you can see, the power consumption has gone so up, so we're beating on this minus 50% power consumption. I was thinking like, oh, yeah, do I bid more? And I was still thinking, is it like worth bidding more? Because here's the thing, currently power price is high. If it stays that way, it's well worth it. Oh, it's very well worth it. But you know, I plan to make 2 geothermals. Okay, the power price will start drop eventually. And here's what I thought. You know, it's gonna drop, and it's probably gonna drop to 1. That's what I thought. Because there's so much geothermal in the map, and there's already 1 geothermal plant, and he was the first one. Clark was the first one to build it. So he's already making a lot of money, and he cool swatted it, obviously. And yeah. So let's see what other players are doing. Okay. So Scientific, he built 2 steel mills. It's okay. Well, currently steel is still like pricing. So these 2 steel mills, they are not very efficient. And if he had like a third one, I think he would help a lot. But he also like, you know, if you notice, the nobody is building glass, not a single person. And well, they don't have silicon nearby. I do. I didn't need. I thought like, you know, I don't care. Well, I didn't think about plants at all. Yeah, but here's oh. So as you can see, I turned my buildings off. Why did I do that? It's because power. You know, power is so pricey. Like, man, it's not worth it, especially the aluminium. Okay, steel, yeah, it's worth to make steel. Turn them on now because I was making power again. Nah, I don't know if turning them back on was a good idea, but yeah, I turned off the aluminium because I have a lot of it. If the price raises, I can use them again. And yeah, I goon squatted both my this, so things should have like started to go well. But here's the thing, you know, if you notice, my geothermals are very far away. That means if I get dynamited, it's gonna take me a long time to rebuild them. Compared to, for example, I think like Bradbury is in the best position right now. If he could have got both those, he would have so good position because he's scientific. So it's very hard to like. He's so much more resilient to all the black market stuff. And even if they get blown up, they're so near. Oh, he could get actually this, and that would be really good. And I didn't want got this. So like this thing, they're like, he's still building it. There is so much power. Everyone are producing power, but the price is not lowering, and I can't understand why. I mean, oh, Asimov stock price is so bad. Yeah, now things start to happen. Okay, first the mutiny. And I used the mutiny on someone else, and it was also defended. I bought another one to defend this. I think that was too pricey. I should have just focused on the offensive. Buying a mutiny was probably a better idea than buying a blue squad. And yeah, so now it's basically power is still very pricey, and whoever controls most of these, he's gonna have a huge advantage. Now Clark got the patent of minus 50% power consumption. That's really good. It's really good, and because the power price has still not dropped, he may he's making a lot of money because of this patent, and he's already well worth it. This 20,000, it was too cheap. It was too cheap, and I misread the situation. Yeah, he's making $400. This is a lot of money. Like this game, late stage of the game. Here's the thing. I got to level 5. Okay, because my strategy was, robotics. I thought like I'm not gonna mess with hacker rate this time. I'm just gonna go straight to Offworld market. See what happens, because people on the road there, like before getting in, people are gonna waste a lot of resources on the black market. So the black market is going to like try out, and like eventually Offworld market. It's gonna be relatively safe. And his thing has price very high, and the biggest problem I'm facing is I don't have a selling product. I have okay right now I have food and I have steel. Now Clark built the baited lab. Let's see, has he got any more? Okay, he got 100%. So nanotech recycles resources. Okay, virtual reality and perpetual motion. That's what he got from the auction. That's very good. I think that's the key part. He hasn't built a dome yet, but I believe Asimov, yes, he has built dome. Here's the thing, like dome costs 1 electricity to upkeep, and electricity right now costs 156. So that means he's losing money because of this pleasure dome. And oh yeah, I blew it up. I don't know why. I wasn't thinking of that. And here I have a mutiny here. This is defended, and yeah, and the cool squad prices are gonna go up, and everything else is still cheap, and they're gonna be used. And what's happening is Clark already, like he's still making a lot of money because of power, and he started buying Asimo, and I didn't notice it. Okay. That was again very huge mistake. Apparently he's buying Asimo very cheap, and Asimov has a lot of debt, that is why, and he's still level 2. So yeah, look at this. Clark is making $600 second, and now he's just starting to buy things out. And I was trying to figure out how can I get my off-world market. I was very focused on my own strategy because food right now I've turned them off because water is more pricey. Steel prices are gonna start to drop. I made carbon mines to upkeep my electronics, and actually I'm making extra carbon, but it's actually very good because they are making me much more money than the food here. So hmm, so yeah, And Clark, he's still making a lot of money. And the biggest mistake I did is I didn't realize it. Did he build any more power aside from those geothermals? Well, he's mutinying mine. He has 2 geothermals on his own. His thing, like he's mutinying mine, it lasts for 120 seconds and it produces him 2 power. So he's making 240 power with 1 mutiny. And this costs him, this makes him 240 times 100. Yeah, that's 24,000. So it's still, mutiny is very cheap. But here's the thing, where are the goon squads? By now, nowhere. So, yeah, yeah. Now it's Asimov and Bradbury, they're both in a huge debt. I'm also in a huge debt. And my stuff gets empty. And here's the thing, because I'm robotics, the black market is offline for me most of the time. Right now it's offline. For Clark, not so much. He gets to use Clark. He gets to use black market very often because he's scavenger. And he's already buying out those two. And I'm falling behind. I'm falling really behind. And the key of this game was power. And I realized it at the end of the game. Because everything I predicted about power was wrong. Like, if you look at this, I dynamited this thing. Actually, it was good because this thing was consuming power, and by dynamiting it, I actually shrank the power prices, and I hurt a bit Lark, but not by a mile. Look, he's actually making good pleasure domes here. They are producing $50 profit, and now the power prices are dropping slowly, and it seems he got the sweet time. He got the sweetest time when the power was the most expensive, and he's also producing water. Has so much water in stock. If he shorted water right now, I think he would win right away. And so there's one water here. There's the other one. Oh, this is pleasure dome 210. He has very simple, very efficient buildings. Like power, one patent that lowers his power costs. Oh, that's right. So they produce even more because actually they consume only 50% power. So this patent is really good with pleasure domes because that means they produce like consume less power, and that means their proficiency is larger. And I think by now I noticed that something's going on in the stock market because I was so busy doing my own stuff, and all my electronics was getting like empty all the time because those things were so cheap, and I just couldn't buy them because my black market is offline all the time. Yeah, still offline. And oh, that poor pleasure dome. Yeah, it's still not proficient, so. But it's hurting his pleasure dome, so that's good, I guess. Okay, I think yeah, I was watching someone else. Oh, here's a bug. Here's a bug of replay. Like I was watching someone who got bought out, and now I can't switch between like player views. So yeah, it's still in early access, so it's understandable. I'm just gonna post it on forums, link it for devs, so they know to fix it. Um, but yeah, Clark already bought out Asimo. I was trying to resist a bit, but it was pretty much futile, cause oh man, because my prediction of power um, price dropping very low, yeah, it became true in the end. But it was so late. It was so late by then. Oh man. And he also has like microchips, like electronics. So I have actually no advantage. I was shorting it, but it was no good. I tried to end those. Um, I couldn't do everything. Couldn't amp everything. But yeah, this was pretty much GG. Even though I started building my Offworld market now, and I could make one shipment, could buy one of the stock, and yeah, I think it was the game is very interesting uh, because of the power war power wars that was going on, and it's it is very usual because it happens in quite many games. In many games, like the power doesn't matter because it drops to $1 very fast because everyone builds a wind panel or wind turbine. And in this game, there were so many geothermals. I thought like, how can it stay high? But that's why there are pleasure domes, lots of pleasure domes. Yeah, this scavenger is good because of the black market. In this game, especially because geothermals and the and the power prices they went extremely high. It's because in level 1 HQs no one built power. I think maybe I think the first one to build power was Clark. I was the second one. And it's a very important thing to keep track on because if you're the first one to build the power plant and everyone else are slightly late, it's gonna make you a lot of money. It's gonna make you very much money. And now, soon, game should be over. Yeah, I'm protecting it, but doesn't matter anymore. Clark did a very good game, so yeah, that's what I've noticed. There are like three main ways to win. One is shorting stuff. One is winning a power war when power is like the key in the game. And the one is offworld markets, like in the late game, having just outracing by having like more offworlds faster, buying the first player, having 4 offworlds, so on, and then racing in the 8th game. Like currently, that's the 3 main ways. Of course, just buying the right buildings, building the right buildings at the right time. It also helps. So yeah, that's why I think it was an interesting game. And now let's look at the post game report. If you can see, like resources. Uh, okay, I made some profit, and I even auto sold some power. I was actually on the positive side there. But Clark, he auto sold so much more, and as you can see, because he didn't auto purchase almost any, it's because he built it. He got there first, and that's how huge that damage is. He also, yeah, late game. Actually, yeah, I feel like he's leading here only because he got the lead from the power. Because he bought others out and he had 2 electronics farms, and that's why he made so much money there. Others, yeah, they were even further behind the power walls. So what you can learn from this is it's power is a very important thing to keep your eye on, and I also learned that from this. Actually, I've learned it before, but now I'm starting to understand to keep even more an eye on it, because unlike everything, if no power buildings are being built, power is going to go up in the prices fastest compared to anything else. Like if no water is being built, it's going to go up, but not so fast. Same for food, oxygen. If there are robotics, then say for electronic this is not going to go up in price so fast. However, this so it's very important to understand the mechanic of this resource compared to all the other resources. So what I was talking about is 2 aluminium mines at the first year. I replaced them, of course. I knew I would do it eventually. But if instead of them there would be like uh, wind turbine, something fast geothermal, that would help a lot. I think wind turbine would be better mm, because it would be closer to my base here somewhere, and I could protect it more, repair it faster, so on. Because geothermal's weakness is you take 40 seconds to repair it, then you have to send your stuff, your drone to him. It also takes time, so it's very vulnerable to dynamite compared to anything else. But then again, it's also vulnerable to nukes, EMPs, yeah, EMPs and mutinies and everything. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from it. I sure did. Bye.